Some of you might remember, a couple years ago, I made a few videos about an app and a website called Candid.
Share freely in a community where trolls and bullies aren't allowed. Be authentic. Be real. Be candid.
The whole idea behind this app was to rip off another app that already existed called Secret and just add a little twist of their own to it. This twist, the whole point of Candid's existence, was that they would be making heavy use of AI to moderate discussion. Lots of websites do this. Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, even Twitch has a customizable AI moderation feature. But there was something very special about the way Candid's AI worked, and in particular, about how it learned. We'll get to that a little bit later though. The reason this app interested me originally was the sheer number of people promoting it and painting it as a great thing for free speech. For example, here are some clips from an ad the YouTuber Black Pigeon Speaks made.
So what I'd like to tell you about is a new app recently released by Candid, what it is and why you may want to try it. Look, we are living in an increasingly controlled environment. What I like about this app is that when people are free to say anything, insightful ideas that you would normally not hear can percolate. And who knows, can even produce profound paradigm shifts.
Doesn't quite line up with reality, does it? I was shocked because Candid's censorship wasn't some secret I had to dig up. It was their main selling point. Their bot was highlighted on their website as the reason you should use it. If you searched Candid app for 5 seconds, their bot was all over the tech news. Intel posted a video of Candid's CEO promoting her and the app.
All of our posts and comments on Candid go through an NLP algorithm which analyzes and detects sentiment, detects things like slander and hate speech. A machine is going to detect if you're being hateful or spiteful or annoying, and it's going to decide whether your comment or your post should stay on or this is something which should be taken out.
It made no sense to me that all the people who normally complain about this sort of stuff were suddenly telling us that this app is great. As you can imagine, pointing out lots of ads like these upset many YouTubers, along with the company itself, and at that time, a couple years ago, much of what I talked about was focused on their retaliation to my commentary. Just explaining what was going on and the shady things I found behind the scenes. You know, like YouTubers getting pissy over me correctly guessing that they'd all signed non-disparagement clauses and traded their opinions for cash, or how Mundane Matt's response video to me could have just been a case of arrogant stupidity, or it might have been a paid corporate hit piece. The YouTuber Bearing was approached and asked if he'd counter me for cash and was told other influencers have already agreed. Bearing obviously didn't do that. We don't know who took cash to be a total shill and corporate attack bulldog and who was just an idiot, but sometimes it's obvious. Unfortunately, much of this so-called skeptic community have decided to memory hole this incident, hiding their ad videos and tweets so it's hard to see the full extent of the issue if you try to look back on it nowadays. I'm finding it really hard to find the YouTuber Some Black Guys ad, for example. But if you can get your hands on it, that one was a real doozy, calling anyone concerned about Candid's AI a conspiracy theorist and comparing them to Alex Jones. Over the course of the last couple of years, this whole ordeal was successfully swept under the carpet because anyone with the ability to do anything was either already paid by this company or was friends with people who were and just wanted the whole thing to go away. But anyway, this video isn't about that side of things. Because I spent my time covering that stuff back then, many details about Candid and the people who worked on it ended up falling by the wayside and not getting the coverage they should have. I also never had a chance to cover what happened after Post Intelligence, the AI company that made Candid, was sold. First things first, what did I miss? Everyone is gathering data and training AI these days. That's not unusual. What was weird and different about Candid was how they were training their AI. Let's talk about what's normal first. YouTube has AI in place that checks through comments, videos, pretty much anything on the site. It's trained by people Google hires to rate content. A human takes a look at it, judges it, their judgment is fed to the AI improves. There's a piece on Wired.com about this called The Hidden Laborers Training AI to Keep Ads Off Hateful YouTube Videos if you want to know more, but that's the basic idea. This is expensive to do because it requires a company to hire a ton of temp workers to do the rating, and there's a lot of rating to be done. But what if someone could come up with a system where you didn't need to hire any workers to rate content, or at the very least needed to hire much fewer? What if you could turn every single user into an unwitting worker, training your AI for you for free? That was Candid's trick.
If someone leaves a post that is mean and nasty and disgusting and using racial slurs and cursing people out and not encouraging dialogue, you can hit them with that hater badge. And if they get hit with the hater badge too many times, they get banned from the app. How fucking awesome is that? Like, kick your ass out of here. Like,
if you were convinced to use Candid, you were doing two things to train its AI. Firstly, you were providing content that could be rated and fed to the AI, obviously. And secondly, you were doing the rating just by letting them know how you behaved and how you responded to other content. But that seems scuffed, right? What if someone hopped on the app and just reported posts like crazy to try and tilt the bot? Well, Candid had a solution to that. See, the bot didn't just rate posts to see if they should be removed, it also rated and labeled people.
Let Candid's AI analyze your posts and decide what badge best describes you.
At first glance, this seems like a silly little feature for fun, but it was actually used by the app to determine whether a report or a dislike or whatever else should be fed to the bot as training data. This was briefly touched on by Bindu Reddy, the woman who was Candid's CEO, in a live stream she had with YouTuber Bearing, and there are just a few scattered fragments mentioning it if you look really hard on the net, so it's hard to figure out exactly how it was meant to work. But essentially, they had some sort of system in place where your label weighted the value of your reports. It was also suggested that there's a system that took into consideration how many different kinds of people reacted negatively to a post before it was removed and fed to the AI as training data. No paid content raters required. Users would be moderating each other, and how they did it would train the bot to censor future posts in the same way. Genius. Very worrying implications, but genius. A system that gives you an automatic, self-training AI that will eventually only ever allow things that offend absolutely no one to be posted. If anything was going to be spread and copied from Candid's AI experiment, it would be this. Why? Because like I said, it's cheaper than paying professionals to rate content, and companies love to save cash. Anyone could be using this method of AI training right now, and we wouldn't know it. With that covered, what actually happened to Candid? They got bought by Uber. What are they doing now, and what happened to all the data they gathered? Who knows? Some workers could be involved with something as well known as self-driving cars, but no one really knows the extent of what Uber's AI labs are working on. Well, besides tools to spy on you using your phone in order to figure out things about you. Let's hope they at least stay away from social media. When Candid got sucked into Uber though, someone didn't go with them. Their CEO, Bindu Reddy, went somewhere else. To Amazon. More precisely, she's now General Manager of Deep Learning and AI at Amazon Web Services. As a Twitch partner, it's nice to know someone higher up at Amazon, which owns Twitch, thinks I'm God.
Harmful opinions is God. Harmful opinions is God. Harmful opinions is God. Harmful opinions is God.
At the same time though, it's sort of unsettling to know that the same mind that spawned something as terrible as Candid will be influencing a service used by hundreds of gigantic companies. Seriously, if you're unfamiliar, go look at the Amazon Web Services client page. Bindu Reddy, the ex-Googler who couldn't handle one autistic nerd criticizing her app and basically had a breakdown over it, now has a serious hand in how Amazon and their clients will be using AI in the future. While we're going to keep getting stepped on by big tech companies, the people who make the tools that cripple us keep going up in the world. And as we've seen, if they offer the right price, the very people who should be the ones fighting them and what they're doing will help it happen. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.